Well, hello. Today we're going to learn how to install Splunk, because if you want to use Splunk, you obviously have to have it installed. And before you can install it, obviously you have to download this piece of software. So if you go out to splunk.com, you'll need to register. Once you've registered, you can come here and log in to the Splunk download page. And that's where we're going to start from today, because it's fairly straightforward to register. They'll send you an email, and you can drop in after you've registered and log in, and you're ready to download Splunk. So I'm here on the download page, and what we're going to see here is I'm going to go to the actual download, and version 6.x, and I won't give a specific version because obviously in the future we're going to have upgrades. But here we're going to go to the download page, and you'll see that they've got various platforms that they support, including Windows and Linux and AIX and Solaris. And so today I'm going to actually install this on a Windows workspace. So I'm going to download the Windows 64-bit MSI. So I've scrolled down here. I'm going to click on download. Now, for those of you who have seen Splunk in the past, it's fairly easy to upgrade, and it's well worth your while to upgrade. They've made a lot of changes in 6, even over version 5. So there's a lot of interesting new features. It's a lot faster, a lot more usability, and so well worth your while. It is actually very easy to upgrade. All you have to do is download the latest version and run the installer. So later versions of these videos I will show you how to download and install for Linux. But today we're downloading for Windows. And so it is actually fairly straightforward. And so all I'm going to do today is I'm going to download the MSI for 64-bit. And behind me you can see there that I am on an Amazon workspace, so it's fairly easy to spin one of these up, and you can test out an install on one of these and go through the install as many times as you would like. So I've got it downloaded, so now I'm going to run the installer, and I'm going to minimize this window here, and then we will launch the installer. And as it comes up, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and run it. Basically, after clicking the run button, we're going to see the typical, do you agree to the license agreement? So we're going to go ahead and click OK. You can read that later if you want. Now, I typically like installing this on a drive other than the C drive, so I'm going to go over here and browse. And on Amazon Workspaces, we've got a D drive, so I'll pop one of those open here real quick and show you. And that indeed I do have a D drive with some space on there. So I'm going to use the D drive to install Splunk on rather than the OS drive. So it's typically a good idea. So I'm going to change that to D, and then I'm going to click OK. There you go. You can see that I'm now using the D drive. I'm going to install this as the local user, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. If you're going to do WMI remote counters, sometimes you need things like domain admin. But for today, we're just going to select the remote user, and I'm going to go ahead and run this and install. Now, using the remote user sometimes, or the local user is usually preferable. I've had some cases where trying to install with the domain admin, for whatever reason, wouldn't start the service, and I had a few issues. So I typically will install with the local user, and then I will go back into the Splunk daemon service, and I will change the user ID and password to be the domain admin for those cases where I need it, and then restart the service. And that seems to work a lot better for me. Now, it might you might have a different experience, and so I encourage you to try that out. One of the things about learning Splunk is, of course, experimenting, even at this simple level. So as you can see, it takes a few seconds to go through the install, but it's fairly straightforward. There's very few options, and now we're finished. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Finish button here, and this will allow me to bring up the browser, which is our standard interface into Splunk. Now, the first time you log in, you're going to log in as admin, and change me is the password, and of course it's going to ask you to change the password. So pick something good, something you're going to remember. And of course I usually ignore the remember password up there because I don't want it remembering change me. And so I'm going to put in my new password, and then here you see the default screen that we're going to see after you've done the install. It's pretty straightforward. So that's really all there is to installing it. It's pretty simple. In a few other videos following this, I'm going to show you how to configure Splunk. So for today, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.